get this up and pop out the chat. Well, let me say hi. Let me say hi to everybody. Ann Lewis, Avon Leanne. I can't believe there's only 5 people here. It says there's 14. Ann Lewis, Avon Leanne, Seashell Surf, Faisy, Jean Phillips. Is that it? No. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Sunday. If you see me doing this, it's because my phone is on a tripod. All right. And it kind of covers the corner of my screen. I bet I could just do this a little bit, right? That would be better, wouldn't it? There we go. Hi. How's it going? What's everybody up to today? It's a crazy weekend, eh? We had to run 2 races yesterday. No, Papa didn't win, but every time he races, he gets a little better. His timing improves. Hey, T Gooding, Aldo, Jean Phillips, Joe Mama, how you doing, baby? Mama Cat, Lena K, Aces, Corey C, Avon Leanne, Melissa Mayfield, Betty Randall, Seashell, Faye Z. Almost sounds like a rap singer song. Faye Z, right? Sounds like a rap singer's name or something. So I know he's doing, you know what? His times, like someone said, I can't believe this isn't drop arm drag racing. This is not racing each other. You are kind of racing each other, but you are competing with each other. Howie will run the car, do a couple of practice passes in the morning. And if his car is running at about a 4.2, 4.23, 4.26, that's what he'll dial in his number as. And he'll dial it even a little bit faster so that he doesn't break his own time, right? So the trick then is to get off the starting line, off the starting line as fast as possible without red lighting, which means as fast as you can from the time the light hits green. And the best score for that is triple zeros, right? But Howie's been getting 0.016 and 0.007, and he's been getting really close. But most of the lots were random, and he went up against some really seasoned real seasoned drivers. So, I mean, it doesn't matter that he didn't win. If the car ran better, we already know what we want to do for it to lighten the load for next year. And Howie's reaction times and everything are really, really, upping the mark. Hey, Aldo. Did you have a nice birthday, Seashell? My cousin and 3 uncles just left, finished cleaning up, and laid my buttons down. What buttons? Oh, your butt. Okay. So it's been really cool. It's been really cool. What was I gonna say? Oh, I'm glad. I've been spending this week de-hoarding, as I call it. It's fun throwing stuff away. I have to buy some much needed clothes tomorrow. I hate shopping. I hate shopping too. I was going to go to Costco tomorrow, but I can't now until the end of the month because something didn't work out. It's all right. Oh my God, she loves the racetrack. She gets real pissed if she gets put inside. And the only time she really consents to going inside is if she's either hot or cold. Like if she can't get out of the sun, then in she goes, right? So I have my cards. I have, just in case anybody wants to I don't want to say tip, but if you do, you will get a card reading. That's all I'm saying. But I've just cleansed them all because they had a little bit of trauma. The box fell over on our way home, and all my cards, well, not all of them, but my moon cards kind of spilled out all over the place, and they weren't very happy about that. I'm really tired. I'm really tired. Although I had a really good night's sleep last night. I had a really good night's sleep. But it takes me the first 2 nights sleeping in the motor coach before I get comfortable. And now I gotta get used to my own. Well, I don't have to get used to my own bed. My bed's my bed. But we are having remade leftovers from chicken stew to a pot pie this evening. Smells like heaven. Well, I'm just making spaghetti. We haven't had spaghetti in a while. Tomorrow I'm going to make a beef stew because I got some limp carrots and some yellowing. Well, they're not yellowing, but they're really expensive little yellow potatoes, I think, in the in a bag that I really need to use up. So tomorrow, and I have one very expensive package of beef stew meat. So I'm going to make a big stew, and then I will, I'll freeze the leftover. I tend to go for like 1 hour and 2 stores. I buy everything that fits and looks worth buying. Sometimes I take things back. So it's always exhausting. You know what? I look at, you know where I buy most of my clothes? At our local Giant Tiger. Because they've learned that a large portion of the people around here are, 1, 2, and 3X. So it's like, oh, I went in the other day and it was like I'm down to one pair of comfortable pants for the winter, and it's like, oh, there we go. Just like that, right? I made ziri sauce with meat, beef ribs, and Delmonico cut steaks on grill and grilled sausage. Well, it sounds bloody delicious, but I have no idea what you're talking about beyond sausage and steak. I went back to school shopping at Dollar General. Good job. Kay, the Country Wife's Kitchen. Hi, darling. Sorry, haven't been around, but you know life. I do know life, darling. I'm telling you, tomorrow, for this week's going to be really busy because it's harvest time. I've got to get the celery out of the garden, the peppers out of the garden, the zucchinis out of the garden. I want to make some. Now, who told me to can tomatoes, zucchini, and onions together? And I'm assuming you pressure can that because zucchini and onions are low acid. Double-decker tacos, spaghetti and green salad with chicken. Well, I'm telling you, if you saw my Facebook page, you saw I concocted the best stir fry ever. And Howie was like, I gave him burgers, right? I made him burgers with, onion and tomato and stuff like that. But that was his weekend treat meal, right? I just took myself the burger patty, and where I had fried the pan I had fried the patties in, I sliced in a zucchini, a red pepper from the garden, the leftover onion that I had sliced for Howie's burger, the last 2 slices of tomato I had sliced for his burgers, and the half a dill pickle. Now, the dill pickle's very important because otherwise it all just tastes like vegetable salt and pepper, and then every once in a while you get a bite of a little bit of dill pickle, and it's like, ooh, it's very good stuff. So I ate that 2 days in a row. Yes, it makes good spaghetti. Speaking of taters, bought a 5-pound bag. Yes, it makes a very good spaghetti sauce. No at the farmer's market. Well, I'm going to go because I have my shopping bag. I got about 20 pounds, 25 pounds of tomatoes for my own tomato plants in the freezer. And then I bought a 25-pound box from the market. So I've got the peppers, the celery, and all the herbs and stuff in the garden, but I got to get mushrooms for the spaghetti sauce. But I'm liking this idea of canning, like stewing zucchini and onions in tomatoes and garlic, and just in the jar, because you can actually cook down the tomatoes so that it's most or not put so much tomato. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I got an idea of what I'm going to do. Oh, awesome. That's wonderful. Hi, Mark. How are you? Yeah, I'm fine, Mark. And it is what it is, darling. Don't you worry about it. Every bit of produce I get at Walmart goes bad in a day or two. I'm surprised from a farmer's market. Really? The one who had a triple bypass. I'll be back, perhaps. If not, I love you all. Wait a minute. I got to go say hi to my neighbor. He back. Oh, okay, Aldo. Okay, sweetheart. Mwah. Hopefully you'll come back. Hey, Timothy and Audrey Abbott, Angie Mack and Mary Reddington. Hi, hi, hi. I'm diabetic, so I bought wheat pasta. It's good stuff. I also got brown rice, shell pasta, tuna, and cheddar. Well, I bought some organic pasta at Costco the last time we went. I'm really not looking forward to going to Costco at the end of this month because it's friggin' September, but I haven't had a chance to go and do my big shopping. I mean, well, Howie having a heart attack and then us, scrambling on our bills, there wasn't any money to go to Costco, except that one where I got my flour and my sugar and stuff like that. But I'm planning on doing like a $600 shopping at the end of the month. So, hey, Robin Rose, how are you? We're going to Sam's to stock up tomorrow for winter. Well, I've still got my rutabagas to do. I'm going to harvest my beets, but I'm going to leave them for Thanksgiving. And celery, whatever I get, I don't know if the celery's gone hollow or whatever, but I'm going to be harvesting the celery and canning some, and then some will go into the spaghetti sauce. And then I'll make the zucchinis and tomatoes and onions as well. So, yeah, so that's happening this week. That's happening this week, the canning. I'm going to probably go on a marathon of canning. Also, I'm going to do a marathon of quilting because I have got to get Mikey and Amanda's quilt finished. I will not let it go 2 years. You know what I mean? Tested positive Friday. Well, just remember, lots of clear fluids. Up your vitamin C intake to like 1,000 milligrams a day. Now, I am not a doctor, okay? Wait a second. I'm not a doctor. But as a general immune boosting thing, I recommend echinacea, vitamin C, D3, and zinc, and lots and lots. I mean, if coffee don't count, clear fluids. Water is best. Water with lemon and honey in it is best, or tea with lemon and honey in it is best. But make sure you drink about 5 liters of water a day if you can. That will stop the mucus in your lungs from solidifying, okay? Hey, Kathy. You're welcome, but I am not a medical advisor in any way, shape, or form. I'm just telling you what I would do. Right? And if you can get your hands on some Mucinex, keep that handy in case your chest really does get badly congested. But you make sure if you use Mucinex, it's hard on the kidneys. So you really have to hydrate with lots and lots of water. Yes, and here is to you and a speedy recovery, sweetheart. Pineapple juice too, to keep the secretions thin. Absolutely, Joe Mama. That's what I remember. I remember somebody mentioning it. Now I remember it was you. So how's everybody? Anybody else? Like anybody here had a problem? Had face Ida and all that stuff? Somebody just mentioned it. I hope everybody's okay and that the damage was minimal, easily overcome, and that nobody was hurt or lost. Okay. Just got power. Hey, Michelle Maria. You just got your power back, eh? How long was it out, Corey? How long was it out? We are about 20 minutes from Slidell in Massachusetts. Slidell? I am in Gautier, Massachusetts. How do you pronounce that, Lena? Because in Quebec, I see that. Even in anywhere else in Canada, I look at that and I would see Gautier. Right? So I'm glad you got your power back on. You're right on top of things if you're almost set for winter. Well, I know I've got my flour. I'm going to be making noodles too soon. I'm going to make some, I didn't get a whole lot of kale, so I'm going to turn them into soup noodles and make up a gallon jar or so of those. Oh, we got rain. We got rain. It started. That's why they ran the races so hard yesterday. We got rain last night, and it was raining when we got home, but it's just finished and the sun is coming out. So tomorrow, I'm picking stuff. Shuffle us some good news. For what, honey? Mississippi, my mom was born in, is it Slidell? And did I say Gautier right? It's Gaucher, the way it's pronounced. Really? Gaucher. Really? Some parts still no power. Mom was born in Slidell. Oh, so I didn't say it right. Okay. Going on. Have to be with everything going on with my husband and the radiation treatments and everything. Don't want to be doing it in the snow. You bet your fur you don't, baby. And you remember, I know that, you've got four to 8 weeks of whatever's coming down the pipe for you. But you got to look after yourself too. Okay? Don't kill yourself to the point where you have to spend an entire day in bed. Okay? Unless you want to, right? On what? On Frankie the dog? Hey, Danny love. No, I don't see Frankie, but occasionally would get a post on Facebook. But I've been hacked so many times that I've lost touch with the people that Frankie lives with. Hey, Rosie Slade. God bless the states affected by Hurricane Ida. I pray for safety and comfort for these people. Amen, Laura Higgins. Amen. Exactly, Jean. That's what I say. Take care of yourself. So, okay, 4 more weeks and got it licked, Bev. I'll make it, then collapse for a week. Just don't kill yourself. Stress kills, and so does overwork. Okay? I'm just saying. Somebody's got to speak for you, right? Trying to decide if I want to dehydrate potatoes. Well, if I get a deal on. Now, hi, Angie. If I get a deal, like I saw some on sale, but I couldn't afford them. But usually one store will have the sale, and then a couple of weeks later, another grocery chain will have the same sale. And that sale is usually 5-pound bags of beets, onions, rutabagas, and carrots. And they're 10-pound bags, 3 for $5 or some bloody thing. Right? So when they go on again, I'll be getting some potatoes and dehydrating a bunch for sure. I got home from the store and scored on chicken breast. Got 1 pack for $4.95. $500 at Smart and Final. Wow. Has everyone ever made mashed potatoes then dehydrated them? I tried that years ago. It never worked. The only way I can say to do it, if you want to try it, is to try a very small serving. Like, take a potato and boil it and then mash it in some of its own water. Don't add milk. Don't add butter, nothing like that, because they have fats in it, and fats are your enemy when it comes to dehydrating. All right? And then mash it and then water it down, almost like potato soup. And then put it on your fruit leather trays. If you want, I will do a trial of that. Okay? Hi, Pamela Louise. How are you, darling? But I just got home, got one pack for $4.91, and one for $5. Okay. But please know that there are those who have been praying for you, sending protection prayers from Nebraska. Absolutely. Feels like we've forgotten because when it hit, all news coverage was the war in Afghan. Yeah. But people know, honey, you just did tornadoes just can't, or hurricanes just can't happen and then people not get noticed. Okay. So, I mean, there's a whole lot of stuff going on, right? But we've been praying for you. Absolutely. Hey, Angel. For a box of tomatoes, $16.44. How much does a box weigh? Because I think I paid 12. No, I paid $15 for a 25-pound half bushel box. If I had bought a whole bushel, it would have been $25. I would have saved $5. But I just thought, you know what? I'm not getting this many tomatoes. So, wow. Well, like I said, I went to Giant Tiger and the chickens were $9.97. And the last time I bought one like that at Giant Tiger, they were $7.97, and I didn't vacuum seal it, and I threw it in the freezer, and it really bugged me when I found it like 6 months later. Right? I had to stew it instead of, roasting it. So I grabbed 3, and you saw from the video, I came home and vacuum sealed them puppies so that they will stay good and long as that holds. Yeah, ground beef right now is like $6 a pound. But it went on sale this week. I'm just driving me nuts, all these sales, and I've got no cash until 3 weeks. Oh no, Howie gets paid next week. So I'll be able to do some shopping, but not my big shopping. You know what I mean? So I'll be able to say to Howie, stop at Food Basics or Freshco and get this, and this. So I can usually find a bushel of paste tomatoes for $22 from local farmers, but they haven't done well this year. No, they haven't. I think my tomatoes are the only ones that did well this year. Because my shopping bag's got probably 25 pounds of tomatoes in it. I'm telling you. As a matter of fact, when I take the paste tomatoes out of the freezer, because what I did is I put them all, they were in a half case, and I in a case, and I emptied them in a banana box, which is bigger and more shallow, so that they will freeze faster. And I will dump them into a shopping bag and compare how much I got just from those tomatoes, because I only put in 5 of those Manitoba tomato plants. 5 of them. Oh, I was talking to Brother John. And they're already planting a second garden in Ohio right now, and like they're planting a fall garden, and they're just doing the do things, getting stocking up and fishing and gardening and canning and the stuff we do every day. He just doesn't really do on video anymore. For a 5-pound roll, I paid $7.95. Where'd you get that, Rosie? Please say Costco. But I want to go to Costco and get a roast, like one of them big, because I hate buying ground meat. I really hate buying ground meat. Our local produce farmer had a bumper crop this year. Slicers, canning, cherry, and heirloom varieties. She was picking a half ton or more a day for a bit. Holy moly! My second wave of beans were looking good till somehow something munched them right down to the ground. That's the problem, though. At this time of year, the deer and everything start looking, right? Like my beans, I have just allowed to just go. I've just allowed them to go because I want to save as much seed as I can, because I have not ordered bean seeds for next year. Did I show you my beans? Did I show you my seeds? I got seeds that came from a seed company in New Brunswick, and these are all non-GMO seeds. You probably pay a little bit more, but I'm figuring it's worth it, right? I got 2 packages of Riverside Sweet non-GMO Spanish onions. Basil, Italian plain leaf parsley, beets, dill, chamomile, hollow crown parsnip seeds. You know why? Because the parsnips suddenly took off and I got like 4 of them. So next year, I'm going to soak these in a baggie in a paper towel until they sprout before I plant them. Purple top white globe turnips, because I want to make pickles out of them for Howie. There's my rutabaga seeds. Bright light Swiss chard. Lacinato. Kale seeds. These aren't the curly leaf ones. These are the ones that'll be easier to chop and destem. And spinach seeds. So I missed my window for planting a fall garden, but I'm starting to stock up for spring. Ow! Hey, Cal, how's it going, sweetheart? I've gotten 120 pounds of tomatoes. So far, not done yet. Well, lesson learned. Where my beets are by the pool, I'm planting my zucchini this year. Next year. And I'm going to also plant, I'm not planting garlic again, that's for sure. I may do one bed if I can find a nice shady spot for it. They do not like direct sun, and I killed them. Between direct sun and weeds, I killed them. So those 8 beds, I'm going to see if we can't take the 4 from the back and bring them to make that back. There's like 8 beds, but they're only 2 high. So I want to make them 3 high. And then that'll leave me 4 boxes to make 2 more beds. And 1 I will put in a more shady corner, like in my onion bed or something. Hey, dear? Uh-huh. How you feeling, baby? Did you take a Robaxacet? Okay, darling. It's just muscle pain, right? Like joint pain? Okay, we'll just keep an eye on it. So, half a bushel aroma tomatoes at Superstore. Oh, I'll have to check that. Where did my chat go? Where did my chat go? There it is. All good here, Bev. Been baking bread and trying buckwheat flour mix with strong whole wheat flour. Very dense, but very good, and very good for you too. I got 50 pounds. Thank God we won't be living off at a loaf a day, like a low, 50 pounds for an entire winter for 2 people is going to be fine. Do you use the tops of your plants, like turnip tops and beet tops? Not my turnip tops. I will next year, because the white globe turnips, I will use the tops there. But I won't, I don't use the rutabaga ones because they get really big and bitter. I just bought 10 zucchini to make zucchini pineapple. Hope it turns out good. Well, I talked to Howie about that. I was going to make some zucchini pineapple because I thought it might be nice for, but Howie said, Belle, I don't even like real pineapple. I'm not overly fond of zucchini. Too bad he's going to eat a lot of it this winter, I'm telling you. Let me tell you, he's going to eat a lot of zucchini this winter. My 3 children graduated from Lakeland Senior Dreadnoughts. What? They all graduated this year? But yeah, you can eat the tops of beet greens and turnip greens and all that stuff if you get them fairly young. But my beets, I'm just leaving them because they're going to be part of Thanksgiving dinner, because I just figure I just would be a glutton. I'd eat a whole plate. I would just cook them, peel them, slice them, butter them, and eat the whole plate, right? Like you should have seen Howie. He goes, I said, do you want burgers? And he goes, yeah. So I put 3 burgers in the pan, right? And I fried them. And I put mozzarella cheese on his, and a slice of onion, and a slice of tomato, and a slice of pickle, and a little bit of mustard and relish ketchup. And then I looked at my lone patty in the pan, and I'm thinking, I don't want bread. I don't want raw onion. And then I went, I have a zucchini. I have a tomato. Well, actually, I had some sliced onion and tomato left over from slicing the tomato and onion for the burgers. So I sliced up the zucchini. I took the patty out of the pan, and I added a little bit of my butter, my spreadable butter, and I love that stuff. It tastes good too. It really does. And everybody's like, "Oh, well, butter stays just fine if you leave it on the counter." It's not necessarily about the butter, the spreading of the butter. It's actually more about making the butter spread farther. Spreadable butter, not necessarily just spreadable, but spreadable with your budget, right? So I just threw a bit of my spreadable butter back in the pan with the seasonings from the burger juice still in there. And I sliced in a zucchini, and I chopped up one of my red garden peppers, and I threw in that onion and that last 2 slices of tomato, and I cut up and threw in the half a dill pickle because I sliced a dill pickle for his burger. And I'm telling you, with the zucchini and the pepper and the onion was just lovely. Still had some crunch to it, but it had flavor. And the tomato, that 2 slices of tomato just made a little bit of juice. And every once in a while, it's like, yeah, this is fine. It's sauteed vegetables. And every once in a while, you got a dill pickle in your mouth. Oh, so good. Vincent Pellegrino, my darling, how are you? I added grated zucchini and carrot to my meatballs. Extra veg. There you go. Laura Higgins, stretch the dollar by spreading the butter. Also, that mix you made with butter and Evo will brown meats beautifully and all the flavor of butter and yum. Well, the extra virgin olive oil is really light tasting, but Howie could still taste it. So I used sunflower oil. And because that's one of the oils, I'll use avocado oil, coconut oil, sunflower oil, peanut oil, but I won't use things like corn oil or canola oil or vegetable oil. You know what I mean? It's like they're really, really bad for you because of the way they're made into oil. It's a chemical process, not a cooking process, right? Don't take my word for it. Do your own research. So, okay, Mark, take care. Good night. Hi, FEMA, how's it going? So I just recently took 2 pounds of butter, and I put in 3.5 cups of sunflower oil and literally just a pinch of salt in the Ninja blender. I don't recommend you doing this with a regular blender. My Ninja blender has 3 S blades up the top. And I did that, and I poured it in 2 big tubs. Well, a tub, and then a 4-cup tub, and then a half. And I'm telling you, butter goes twice as far. And guess what? In my zucchini bread, in my chocolate zucchini bread, you need 1 cup of oil and 1 cup of butter. I already did that in my spreadable stuff. How you doing, Nighthawk? Sunflower is safe, yeah. The thing is, if you use coconut oil, even if it's denatured so you can't taste it, put that in the fridge, it's going to go rock hard anyway. Because coconut oil goes hard in the fridge, not as hard as butter, but olive oil, if you put olive oil in the fridge, it'll get sludgy, it'll get thick, right? So that's why an oil that doesn't thicken with refrigeration is the best one to use. And sunflower oil has the least flavor. Hey, Katie Grazier, how's it going? I got stuff for pork fried rice too, chopped. Oh, you just gave me a great idea to use my home canned ground pork. wonder if Howie's going to light a fire. I hope not, because he'll get it so hot in here. I'm glad you're here too, sweetheart. Hey, Willows, how's it going? So, yeah. This is, I'm making things stretch as far as I can. I'm making things stretch as far as I can. As a matter of fact, because when I went to the local farmer's market and bought a pound of local hamburger and a pound of local stew beef. And they cost me $9 a package. Okay? But it's local and lean. I knew where it came from. And I mean local, right? But it's a whole pound of stew meat. If it hadn't, but here in Quebec, you can sell local meat, but it has to be prepackaged and frozen. You can't sell it fresh. You can't sell fresh cut meat in this province unless you get it from butcher, right? They're licensed to sell fresh cut meat. So that pound of stew meat would have actually done us too. And if we still had the meat saw, I'd just have Howie go zing and cut it in half. But so I'm going to make a big crock of stew tomorrow. If you want the video, just say so now. I'm going to make a big crock pot of stew tomorrow with that pound of beef. And I'm going to add, because I got a whole bag of limp carrots in the fridge and some potatoes I got to use up. So I'm going to make a big pot of stew. And then what we don't eat, I will freeze. I love pickled garlic. It's a great addition to all sorts. Oh, I put garlic in all my dill pickles, like whole garlic. And I didn't make any dill pickles this year because I still have 2 half-gallon jars in the pantry. So it's like we've been eating our cucumbers fresh. Buffalo burgers tonight. I love buffalo meat. Yes, I love buffalo meat. But what I love more is moose meat. There's a buffalo farm or a bison farm around here. And I spent $18 on a little buffalo roast once that big just because I wanted to try it. And the burger's really good, but it's bloody expensive. But moose meat, anybody local watching this, if you go moose hunting, I will gladly donate to your ticket to get a piece of that moose. Hey, Vicky, how's it going, sweetheart? There you go. Leftover stew would make an amazing shepherd's pie. Thank you very much. I will do that. And I'm going to write that down because I'm a little bit on the medicated side today. And I want to make sure. I want to see if this is going to fit my Gaia cards. Because I don't like taking them in and out. Oh, look at that. Look at that. I don't like this. It's like a regular card deck thing, and the cards get stuck. I just found a box in my drawer with a Christmas brooch from Nan last year that you're going to see me wear this year. So I'm going to put that. I don't wear a lot of jewelry, but I like the occasional brooch. So, what was I going to say? Oh, right. The stew meat. Right. Left over stew. Shep's pie and freeze. Okay, awesome. That's really good. That's really good. So, I prefer elk to venison, but I've never had moose. Well, elk's nice. I prefer it to venison too. But can I ask how old you are, Laura? And because it'll have a direct effect on the answer for me describing what moose meat tastes like. Never. I've never had gamey moose meat. Never had gamey moose meat. Okay. Then you may not know what real good roast beef tastes like. When I was a kid, okay, when times were lean, no, but when Dad's paycheck was coming in and the bills were all paid, Mom made a roast beef dinner every Sunday. It was It's from both her family's traditional British, Scottish background. And my mother would sear the roast. Now, Dad never saw her make a roast. Figured out what years later why his roasts were so bloody tough. But Mom would sear the roast all over, and then she'd put it in the oven, and she'd make roast potatoes and carrots. And you've seen me make this meal. But beef, when I was a kid, did not taste like beef today. Beef is lacking something in flavor. Beef really is lacking something unless you get like really good organic hay-fed beef, right? And it still does not compare to moose. Moose meat tastes like roast beef did when I was a kid. And I'm 57 years old. So we're talking 50 years. 50 years ago, beef tasted really good, even hamburger. As a matter of fact, when I was a kid, I would eat raw hamburger. You don't even think about doing that today. Exactly what, honey? Hunger is the best sauce. Absolutely. We did not get any damage from the storms. Oh, Julia, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah. And that could also be that my age, my taste buds are different. But when I taste moose, it's like, As a matter of fact, Howie's brother-in-law has an elk farm. And we actually, I actually talked to a local farmer, and the one guy that does the butchering in the area has cancer and is not doing it this year, because I was going to buy, get a group together and buy a local beef and have it, cut and processed, and we'd all divide it up, right? But there's no butcher, and we no longer have our Toledo meat saw. If we had our Toledo meat saw, we could quite conceivably, with help, butcher a whole beef. But it would have to be like between 3 families, us and 2 other families. And we no longer have that Toledo meat saw. It got sold and put into the race car. And there ain't no way either one of us has the processing. I mean, the last time we butchered a whole beef, it was just Howie and I. And we were up at 5 a.m. and up until midnight, 3 days running, getting that thing cut and wrapped and in the freezer. And it never had time to hang. Never had time to hang because we didn't have anywhere to hang it. So it was tough as old boot leather, but I mean, not really tough, but Hey, YT. My mom had a difficult time keeping me out of the ground chuck as I walked home from the butcher. Yeah. Right? I mean, that's different, right? And I mean, they call that steak tartare, is when they finally mince a steak up and they add all these seasonings and stuff and they feed it to you raw. It's like, yeah, as a kid, I can still remember what it tasted like. But would I do that today? Hell, I won't. I don't even like buying store-bought hamburger. So, but then my mom always got meat from a butcher on Queen Avenue, on Queen Street, not Queen Avenue, Queen Street, just west of Pape Avenue. And it was called Sunnybrook. And it's not the Sunnybrook, but it was called Sunnybrook Meat Market. And mom would order bread in by the flat. Right? Because she would make up we only had this one little cube freezer, right? Like in the bottom of our fridge. The lower half of our fridge was a door freezer. And so mom bought meat weekly. But things like lunches, like because the 3 eldest were taking lunches to school. Dad took a lunch to work. So mom would do all these lunches in advance and put them all in the freezer and just pop, 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 pop as people went out the door, Well, it's not just that. I mean, corn was never meant to feed cows. Corn was meant to feed people, right? I mean, corn is one of those weird grains. It is a grain that produces not just starch, but also sugar. That's why it can be so poor for your health if you don't like it. But the way they feed them is not the same. Like if I bought a local beef from my neighbors up the way, I could get it for $850 for a live steer. Cut and wrapped, that's $3,000 almost. But I don't have the meat saw anymore, right? Or I'd say, okay, I'd gather up, Raph and Ron and another I'd put it out and say, okay, who wants to come help butcher this beef? And we'll split it, right? It would be, but we don't have a meat saw. So, but yeah, my friends' cattle's all grass fed, all hay fed beef. They don't give them corn. The pig, I should look into Mr. Peabody. Well, it's Peabody Farm, but it's not his name. I can never remember his name, so I call him Mr. Peabody. Where we bought our last pig and our pig for our pig roast, where he bought our last piglets, those red pigs, he feeds his. They are pasture raised and organic oats that he hand grinds. He said there's no point in giving corn to pigs because all it does is turn to fat and you want meat, right? And he said it gives no nutritional value at all. It just makes them fat. You are perfectly correct. That's why our beef is raised on grass and hay finished on corn. That is their only taste of corn in their whole life, directly before coming to plate. You know what, though? That creates a lot of, this is what I've heard, like, grass fed, but I've heard that, like, the last 2 weeks, if you've been feeding them on corn, you should feed them hay the last 2 weeks so that they can shed all of the E. coli, because in a cow's stomach, corn is an E. coli factory. That's what I heard anyway. Are you tired out from your weekend at the track, Gracie? Are you tired? My goodness. Mincy Mum. Oh, Scheisenheimer. I'm sorry, folks. Sorry about that. I bumped it. I Gracie Madoo. Oh, goodness. Were you catching your toenails in that blanket? Did you tell Daddy to take the blanket off the couch because your nails were getting caught in it and it was upsetting you? She was so good. We were sitting there for the last race and she was sitting by my chair like a statue. And somebody went by with a Cocker Spaniel or something. Gracie didn't even turn her head. My goodness, you were such a good girl. Yes, you were. My goodness. Give me a kiss. Give me a kiss. No? Okay. Ungrateful wretch. Yeah, she was sleeping in her little... See, she went back to lay down in her bed. E. coli is a necessary bacteria to digestion. It inhabits the bowel in animals and people, dangerous outside of the bowel. Well, that's what this was the study I heard, okay? Was, yes, it's important, but corn in a cow's stomach, because they're a ruminant animal, corn creates too much E. coli that can be dangerous when you butcher the animal. So if you want them to shed it, you just, you know what I mean? I don't know. I only raised one steer my whole life. So, and all he ever got was hay and apples and carrots and cabbages. But, whatever was going. So, I think completely grass-fed beef tastes more like good elk. But if I'm paying beef prices, I want the best beef taste ever. Well, I mean, I can't afford it. Did you see the price of just a plain roast? Right? And that one big rib roast, $90? I'd have called that a good steak for maybe 3 people. But $90? No, thank you. So what did we feed corn to? I don't know. I don't know. We fed corn to people. All that, I mean, I don't feed it. I never fed it to my goats. Well, I mean, no, that's not true. They got deer chow every once in a while, and it had corn in it. But they only got a little bit. Oats for horses, hay for beef, and everything in between for pigs, right? Oh, and birds, yeah. You did what? It's a crime. So what did we feed corn to? Mostly birds, right? Corn is, you know, I don't use a lot of corn. Oh, and I didn't buy any. That's all right. We didn't really eat the last bag we had, so yeah, it was a rib roast it was like with the rib attached. $90. Go over to our half acre homestead and look at the video as our price is rising. Half of my 2 pounds of ground beef is going towards tacos, the other half spaghetti. Well, I'm making spaghetti today, but I don't have any mushrooms. I'm gotta go shopping as what's the date today? Not this week, next week. I'll go shopping. Yeah, I know. But the thing is that grocery store is always higher priced. They're always been higher priced because they think they're the only grocery store. But when you get that far south, you're damn near in Hull. You might as well go to Hull anyway and go to Super C. I prefer Freshco but I'm going to be going produce shopping when it comes to meat, unless a meat sale goes on. But I would rather go to Costco and spend $90 on a roast that big and make stew, cut a small roast for Sunday dinner, and then cut up the rest in stew meat and hamburger. Yeah, I need mushrooms too. Rib cut. Okay, beef here in the States is high also. And what's more of a crime is that the weight of the bones you're also paying for. Yeah, absolutely. But I prefer dehydrating my ground meats. I actually are you up in here, Hal? He must be out in the coach, getting the food in from the coach. Sorry. But this thing is not tilting properly. There we go. Excuse me. So, next week is payday. It's not going to be a great payday because it never is these days, but it's going to be, we're stable. We're going to be stable again. This is going to be our first full paycheck since Howie's heart attack. So we're going to be stable again. But I'm hoping to see like Food Basics or Freshco come out with the box tomatoes for $8.88. They'll probably be $10.88 this year, right? Everything's gone up. Because like those chickens I bought last year, $7.97. They've gone up $2 a chicken. So if you're buffering, honey, try hitting F5 on your computer and refreshing the page. Well, these days, yeah, it's always a party, but oh my God. I may be able to go shopping. Well, anyway, what I want to do is I want to hit the produce sales. Like if they have one of those stores is bound to have 10-pound bags, 3 for $5, right? It used to be 3 for $2.99 or $4.99 or $3.99. But you get 10 pounds of potatoes, 10 pounds of turnips, 10 pounds of onions, 10 pounds of carrots. And I mean, those are all stock vegetables in this house. He's doing much, much better. He still has to take, he still allows things to stress him out too much sometimes. And him telling me all these years, let it go. And he's got upset today about something. It wasn't really that big of a deal. But I was like, Howie, let it go. For starters, it was a conversation between me and Briar. And B, I know how to talk to my son so that things get worked out, because Briar looks at things differently. But how he took it personally. It's not personal with Briar, it's just Briar, right? Every year we have a small grocer that has a huge sale on chicken and bacon and sometimes pork. I'm hoping we have it this year. Oh, that's good. Well, I'm trying to cut back on the red meats. So when we go to Costco is probably where I'll buy my chicken. I'll probably buy my chicken at Costco. So go gotcha a chub. Go gotcha a chub, Angie. I've never heard it called that before. Wait a second. And wait, Angie, where? Angie Mac, I think I need to go to Wineco and get a chub of ground beef. Well, Costco has those big rolls on, right? And if I can't find a roast, I'm just gonna have to bite the bullet and do it. And they could, because they have them. They're like, 5-pound things of ground meat. But I don't like that I can't see the meat. Well, I think maybe I can. Wait a second. I don't know. I barely glance at them, so that tells you how little I know about them. Farmer's Market is my best option since I wasn't able to raise a garden. I found organic chicken at Aldi's pretty reasonable. Oh, well, there you go. We don't have an Aldi's here, though. They're chubs from here on out. Absolutely. Forgetting tube meat. Well, it's kind of the same thing, isn't it? Oh my goodness, we're bad. We're so bad. But I'm going to be getting off here shortly, only because I've got my spaghetti sauce is pretty much ready. And see, I only used a half-pint jar of the ground pork in it. Now we won't be able to complain. I only have 1 jar of spaghetti sauce left. So I'm hoping to see a sale go on in jarred spaghetti sauce. I make my own spaghetti sauce, but I like to beef it up one. If you got company, you don't want to put your two of your home can jars in a pot. So you just grab 1 home can jar and 1 store-bought jar, and you go add in some onion and some mushrooms, and you got it, you're good to go, right? That's not what it's called. I don't know what they're called, but they look like chubs to me. And grind it. Well, that's what I'm hoping to do. I'm going to be looking, but the prices at Costco the last time we went, it was like $30 for a big package of legs and stuff, and I'm wishing now I'd bloody well bought it. Or not legs, chicken breasts. Because it was like 5 pounds of chicken breasts. It was like $30. And no, it wasn't 5 pounds. Had to be more than that, because it wasn't cheap, but it was expensive until I went to the IGA in Chelsea, and it was twice as much almost. A tub or chubs depend on the store. Chubby chubs for every single one. All right, I want some of what you're smoking. From a meat cutter at the grocery, they get all ground beef in tubes. They just regrind it to a fine cut. It's the same thing. That's awful. That's horrible. And if you ever noticed, like I looked at what they called medium and lean ground beef. I remember lean ground beef as a kid. It was red. Red. Not pink. Not bright pink. Red. Almost like ground venison, but with just a little bit more white flecks in it. You saw red meat and you saw the flecks of fat. You didn't see this pink stuff. It's no, do you have a preference of meat for making your homemade lunch meat? Well, that depends. That depends on what lunch meat you're making. Like if you're making like the kind that you put the preservatives that you put the pink salt and all that stuff in, the finer the grind, the better. But if you're talking about the leftover chicken and making it into like with gelatin and putting it in the blender and then chilling it and slicing, the chicken's always the best. But you know, chicken because it's more tender. But the red or the fat. Okay, well, I'm sorry, but I've seen lean ground beef and it's still bright pink. It's still not red. It's not much redder than this. Turkey. My husband says it must be a southern thing. See, that's, yeah. And see, in the States, they tell you the percentage of fat in the meat you buy. Here, they just call it medium, lean, or regular, medium, lean, and extra lean. So regular is probably about 40% fat and awful. You know what I mean? Chicken's the best. Leftover chicken is the best. Or turkey, right? But you season it. Put in some salt, pepper, garlic, all that wonderful stuff. Yeah, poultry's the best for that. Poultry is the best for that. I have to go miles for true organic meat, but they have a wonderful cafe, so good coffee, and organic cake. Calories if organic, right? Absolutely none. Just kidding. Patreon Monday, Wednesday, and Freaky Fridays. Yes, Seashell. Tomorrow we will be Freaky Friday at 5 p.m. Not Freaky Friday. Oh my gosh. Were you there for Friday? Because, I mean, it was funny. I did Freaky Friday in the motor coach because we're at the races, right? And it was cool enough. See, whenever I've done it before, I've had the air conditioning go, the windows all closed and the air conditioning on, right? Well, it was cool enough that I had all the windows open. And I thought no one could hear me over the cars and the generators. I was wrong. Oh, yeah. It's like, I came out afterwards and people are smiling at me and stuff. And I'm going, the kids next door were dancing to Uptown Funk, and I just thought they were listening to somebody because I heard other radios going earlier, right? I come out, people are smiling at me, and I'm going to Howie. I said, yeah, stream for an hour and 30 minutes. He goes, oh, that's good. And one of his buddies just grinned at me, and I said, please tell me nobody heard me. And he goes, oh, yeah. Everybody heard every time there wasn't a car rolling or something. And I went, oh, and Howie said, it's fine, Bev. Everybody just said, sounds like your wife's having a great time. No Freaky Monday. We buy our coffee from Black Rifle Coffee, veteran-owned and operated company. Oh, well, there you go. I use 9010 or 93.7. I think some new vids on homemade lunch meats for stretching leftover meat is going to be a great tool in times to come. Well, like I said, I'm going to show you when I make I'll do a video on Howie's lunch, how I use the cooked ground pork in Howie's lunch because he really enjoyed it. And here's a trick, folks. If you make a BLT for your husband or your partner or yourself to take to lunch and you don't like how the mayo makes the bread gummy, toast the bread first. Then let it dry, like not dry like stale, but let it cool down so it doesn't absorb. Then put the mayo on the bread. Just put the mayo on the toast. And your sandwich will stay damn near restaurant fresh until lunchtime. You put it in the fridge. Absolutely. You're welcome, Avonlea Ann. Folgers, no sugar, no cream. I only drink tea and the occasional infused microdose frozen coffee. Drag races have a lot of fun people that just want to have fun. That's true. That's true. And I'm really grateful that, I'm really grateful that I had a great time. I don't know how many people were there. It's not that I don't remember, but when I do Freaky Friday, I'm not it's not staged. I'm just there, hanging out, having a great time, and puffing, and puffing on some medication, and hanging out with friends and music, right? So it's kind of cool. My mom used to spread a very thin coat of butter on the bread before the mayo. Well, wasn't your mother brilliant? But not everybody likes to put, like when I do Howie sandwiches, I don't necessarily put them, if I'm like, for instance, I took a half pint jar of my cooked ground pork, canned pork, and I just dumped it in a bowl, and I finely minced some onion, and I added mustard and salt and pepper, enough to make it like almost cling together, right? And I said to Howie, I said, how'd you like your roast pork sandwich? And he said, my God, that was good. And I didn't, he said, I hardly had to chew. Because as you get older, putting a slab of roast pork or a slab of roast beef in your husband's sandwich these days, it's like too much work for them to eat. It's not like you're sitting down watching TV and you can take your time over a toasted roast beef sandwich. It's not the same. It's cold and it's tough. So, well, there you go. I just ordered multi tea, almost ran out. That's not good. Need tea. I have lots of tea. I just don't have any multi biscuit tea, but I'm fine with that. I found I was drinking too much of it, and ergo giving myself too much sugar. But it is a treat. It certainly is. If I make a sandwich for hubby's lunch, I usually send it all discombobulated, and he can put it together. Oh, Howie'd say that's too much work. For instance, I could give him leftover spaghetti in a tub. Heating it up is too much work. He just wants to open the tub and shove it in his face. So, but I ended up having another hamburger patty and my stir fry veg again last night because it was so good. Howie, I said I can give you the whole chicken breast, which is 2 halves in the pint jar, on a Caesar salad if you want. And he goes, that's a lot. I said, it is a lot. I said, but he's been complaining that it's never been enough. It's too much veg, not enough meat. So I made him a pie plate full of chopped romaine lettuce. And I gave Gracie the juice, and I took out the chicken breasts and I shredded it all over top. And then I put a little bit of Caesar salad dressing. And then I took, I had bought sliced mozzarella for the burgers because I don't use processed cheese. So I took the mozzarella slices and I sprinkled it on top. And he's like, he could not finish it. So out the Black Rifle coffee. There you go. I've got to pick up some more Tetley tea. They've been out most of the summer. Have you gone to Costco, Joe? Because that's where I would always buy mine, $10 for the 300 tea bags. I still have a box because I really don't use Tetley anymore. I use it when I run out of the good stuff. I know, me too. And yet, we don't put bacon bits. We don't put bacon bits. We don't put croutons or anything. It's just chopped romaine and Caesar salad dressing and stirred in, and then shredded chicken and pepper and Parmesan. Boom. It's more because when you start adding and if you really don't want to add the sour cream dressing, just take a bit of yogurt and sprinkle in some fresh chopped garlic, fresh minced garlic, and mix it in with some salt and pepper, and then just put it aside and let it marinate in the fridge for a half an hour or so. Right? You can do it with fresh chopped garlic and a little bit of avocado oil and pepper. That's all you need. That's all the flavor you need. You don't necessarily need the cream, but if you want it, just add a little bit of yogurt. Plain yogurt. I love chopped chicken, apples, pecans, and croutons. Oh, I'm still learning. I like it with your garlic sauce. Oh, it is. Oh, this is very good. I like it. Yeah, you know what? When I go shopping, I've got to get the stuff for the garlic sauce because I want to make some. Because the stuff I got a squeeze bottle of garlic sauce, and if I see it again, I'll pick it up. But you can almost taste that there's You could almost taste there's too much lemon in it. It's almost too lemony because of preservation reasons, right? So, what is Chick-fil? I've never been to a Chick-fil. I love the Tazo teas. Butterscotch blondies, lemon cake. Oh my God, that's not tea. That's Kool-Aid. Macaroon. I have some. I have chamomile tea. I have lemon tea. You know, I'm not really huge on the herbal flavors, right? I like them around Christmas time. I love nothing more than an apple cinnamon spice tea with honey around Christmas time. Put with 1 teaspoon of sweetened condensed milk. That is a treat. Oh, I've got lunch kits for me this week. Salads, hard-boiled eggs, cheese, and pepper. There's a good idea. I'll hard-boil some eggs and make Howie some egg salad sandwiches this week too. I figure we used to have a place called, was it Chickadees? I can't remember. God, I can't remember. But it was my favorite place to get chicken. I hated KFC whenever I tasted this other place. I can't remember. My friend Julie used to work at one. Manuka turmeric applesauce. Ooh, Manuka honey. That's just $45 for a little bottle. Manuka honey, but it is so good for you. But then so is organic honey, unpasteurized, from your local area. You should always buy honey from your local beekeepers. Why? Because they are putting all those, they're getting all their pollen and stuff from local flowers. And that is easier for your body to digest and recognize as a medicinal nutrient because it's where you live, right? Your body recognizes it more because it's local. Does that make any sense? Yeah, Manuka honey is quite medicinal, but I think I'm going to be investing in some for this winter. For sure. I made it. My son called. I just made it. Hey, Mary Cook, how's it going? Nighthawk. What did Nighthawk? You as well, my friend. Sorry, not on Facebook anymore. Gardeners, canners, and preppers being labeled as extremists, so I left. Oh my God. If I had a nickel. Okay, let's do it. Let's be realistic. If I had a loony for every time I was called a prepper, conspiracy theorist, fake news, doomsday, nutcase, I'd be wealthy. I mean, you've seen the growth on my R half acre homestead channel. It was a homesteader channel, but I wasn't sure in the beginning. When I first started my channel, I just had discovered YouTube. My channel was totally by accident. Because I sent this video to, everybody knows the story. I sent this little knitting video. First video I ever made on YouTube, 2009. And I went to send it to a friend in Colorado, and it wouldn't send. I said, well, what's the point of making a video if you can't send it over the email? And Briar goes, Mom, you got to upload it to YouTube, and then you send them the link. But you know, and so he said, at the time, I didn't realize what he said. You make it public, and that way they can share the link. Right? And like 6 months later, somebody said, thank you for the video. And I went, what video? For the knitting video. And I went, who is this person and how did they get my email? When I made the video, my office was downstairs. When they responded, it was upstairs in the living room. It was before the edition. I mean, we're going way back. 6 months later, how did they get my email? Who is this? How did they get in my computer? You know? And Briar goes, Mom, your YouTube page is public. And I went, what does that mean? Right? So he showed me. That's when I started watching YouTube. I had no idea I was addicted to YouTube when I first. So, I mean, That's so right from the get-go, I was learning YouTube. I was learning from YouTube. I was learning from people. There was this whole world out there of information that I did not know was at my fingertips because all I ever knew was Internet Explorer for search, right? Mrs. V, here in the States, extremist laws have been passed. No joke, Jesus. Have you not been watching what's going on in the Canadian news? 1 minute, our prime minister, I don't want to get into politics, but 1 minute, our prime minister, he's not my prime minister, our prime minister was saying, no, we're not going to mandate vaccines and blah, 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 blah. And the next thing you know, he's shouting on the news like you know what? I think his vaccine infected his brain. Because then he's shouting on the news going, that's fine. If you don't want to get vaccinated, that's fine. But you don't think you're going to get to expect to sit on the same planes and in the same concerts and restaurants as vaccinated people. And I'm going, holy mother of God, what has gotten into this man? I think he's got some kind of brain worm or something, right? So, I mean, vaccine passports became mandatory on the 1st of this month here in Quebec, and they're going mandatory in Ontario on the 22nd of September. And then by October, Ontario wants to be digital. Quebec's jumped the gun. Your vaccine passport's on your phone. It's like, I know, but I'm not, and I don't want to talk about politics, okay? You'll see it if you're on my regular Facebook page, because I'm totally dead set against vaccine passports. I'm totally dead set against mandatory jabs. So I'm for free choice, and you don't get to take my freedoms away just because I don't want to put your poison in my body. That's just wrong, and it's against the law, and it's against our Canadian rights and charters of rights. That's it. Enough said. I can't have a shot or even a flu shot. Well, that's the thing, right? You lost your phone in the lake. Kelly, what are you doing? Was there alcohol involved? Sorry, I'm just kidding. Yeah, so I mean, but the truth is people, this is the thing, is people are rallying against it. Like Toronto Hospital, the nurses all walked out. They did a walkout. And my body, my choice. Happened in Ottawa. I think it happened in Ottawa. It was scheduled to happen in Ottawa. I don't know if it happened in Ottawa. But the truth is, and this stuff is not getting reported in the mainstream news. Only people with cell phones who are filming it is getting reported. And if you are showing it, and if you put that on Facebook, then it's medical misinformation, or it's COVID related, or it's fake news. You know what I mean? Because don't think for a minute that the that news, mainstream media news, is not controlled by the government, because it is. So I didn't share this one meme, but I will send it to you privately. That sums it up, Bev. Absolutely. And I got a phone SE, and everybody's going, oh, you guys are all, these new 5G phones. You guys are all conspiracy theorists and you're crazy. I got a 5G phone. It doesn't do nothing. That's because it's not activated yet. 5G phone technology isn't out yet. The 5G phones are, but when the 5G becomes active, you have to insert a chip into your phone. Oh, hamburger cooked with onion and green pepper. Well, see, if you add a can of tomatoes with that and some elbow macaroni, we call that goulash as a kid. So, friend of mine in Australia said you can't get into some stores there without being vaccinated. Well, that's the way that's what a vaccine passport is. And right now, I belong to several groups on Facebook that are Canadians Against Vaccine Passports Ontario, Canadians Against Vaccine Passports Quebec. I've even joined a group called Truckers Against Vaccine Passports. Because guess what? If the truckers decide to say no, we're not, and I'm pretty sure there were trucks backed up on the bridge coming into Canada, and the truckers just kind of clogged the bridge. Said, no, we're not going anywhere. Not if you need a. And if our truckers shut down, I'll support them. But the government will have to know that if you bought it, a trucker brought it, and you better respect these people's decisions, right? Hey, Omi, how are you? Hey, Chaos. So, yeah, I love goulash. Onions, peppers, burger, and a can of diced tomatoes. And then, not a lot, but like if you got like, a spaghetti pot, but 2 cups or 3 cups of cooked macaroni in there. It's disgusting. I'm not getting it at this moment. Pardon me. I'm going to not say the words anymore because I will get dinged. Hitlerian, Hitlerian. But I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. Right? But right now, it's only non-essential businesses. That's restaurants, concerts, sporting events. And get this. Restaurant, you can't even get into a restaurant on the patio without one. So there's a lot of businesses that are saying no. Because this is how they've tried. This is how they tried to make everybody. They failed with lotteries, and they failed with giving education and show your vaccination card and get $10 off a guy and take a guy. All these kind of crap that's been coming out, right? And people are still saying no. What does it tell you if you have to give people incentives, financial incentives, to take a jab they really don't want? And I'm going to say one thing. Okay, I do not want it because I have so many interactions with pharmaceuticals and synthetics that I won't trust it. But here's the deal at the end of the day. And I know everybody has the right to the freedom to protect their body to the best of their ability with their own choices. Okay? I am protecting mine by saying no. Okay? But the truth of the matter is, everybody's like, oh, everybody's like, oh, you're paranoid and you're this, and I trust the science and all this stuff, and say, okay, that's fine. And I've supported you and I love you and I supported your right to choose the vaccine. If you can't support mine not to, then we are not on the same page in any way, shape, or form. Right? And the truth of the matter is this is what I want to say to the people who call me paranoid. I'm not talking about the people who took the vaccine just because they, I have almost all of mine and Howie's family are totally double vaccinated. Okay? So we support that. We love them and support their decisions. But what if I'm right and I am forced into get vaccinated and it kills me or maims me? What if I'm right? If I'm wrong, I can still get the vaccine, right? If vaccinated people are wrong, there's dick crap they can do about it. Trusting the vax is trusting the government. And have you seen our government? Yeah, I know. You won't need it. They're going to try that. This is the thing. It's the thin end of the wedge, the way I see it, right? It's the thin end of the wedge. Meaning it's only going to get worse if we don't stop it right now. Right now. And unfortunately, being unvaccinated, I'm not going to go out in crowds and rallies. But there are people everywhere walking off their job. People are saying, you can't fire me for not getting vaccinated. People are getting fired. Does everybody watch TikTok? Because people are recording it saying, your services are no longer required, so you're firing me. No, I'm terminating you. So let's be clear. You're firing me. And they're recording it on the phone. Because your next words, when you get that recording, you shut your phone off and you look up, you lawyer up, buddy. You lawyer up. And what's going to happen is the weight of the public opinion, okay? Because now there's tons and tons of people who have gotten vaccinated to save their jobs, and then they're pissed now because they didn't want to in the first place, but they were coerced. They were afraid for their jobs. But they're seeing people all over TikTok saying, I just got fired today. That's okay. Like one girl, she was cleaning boats all by herself on an open dock. Got fired because she wasn't vaccinated. Lawyer up. She think, well, the thing is I can't talk about this anymore, or I'm going to get, this is going to get blocked and removed for medical misinformation. So what I'm asking you to do is don't listen to anything I say. You use your critical thinking. Use your, see, we're suffering from an absolute overwhelming amount of information. Okay? It's just we're being overloaded with crap information, and real information, really hard-hitting stuff isn't even seeing the light of day. Right? How are we supposed to make healthy choices when we can't get a straight friggin' answer anywhere? Right? Oh my God, Julia. Keep us updated, eh? So, are you watching, Wendy? They're I will, if you're watching, Wendy, I will keep them in my prayers. My nephew and his family are driving home. So she asked for protection. So anyway, I am not a doctor. I am not a pharmacist. I am not a scientist. As a matter of fact, I was talking to one of my cousins, and this one cousin is 82 years old, 83 years old. And I sent her a letter. And don't think your email isn't being monitored, but that's just me, right? Do you think they stopped just because Jon Snow decided to release all this information and now they're calling him a liar? Do you think do you honestly think he's living in Russia because he wants to? Oh, Avon Leanne. So what cards should we do? And let's talk here for a minute. Where are my Gaia cards? I just put them in a new box, did I not? There they are. And make their own informed decisions. Yes. But the problem is it's really hard to get good information, right? So, wow. All right, one card just flipped out. We're just going to do a general reading with the Gaia cards, and see what the heck's going on. Do we need to really worry about this? You know what I want to ask? And it's not a yes or no thing, but I want to ask. It's all going to come out in the wash. Wow. Okay, here we go. Now, I've started emailing and I've started journaling, and I'm going to start letter writing to the best of my hand's ability. Intuitive communication. Silent whispers. of the excuse me. There's always 3. Silent whispers of the heart. This is telling me intuitive communication. That means listen to your guts. Listen to your guts. And the flame tree. It's the start of something new. And I think personally that we are going to put the brakes on just in time because we've been pushed too far. We've been pushed way too far. So I'm not encouraging discord. I'm not encouraging people to break the law. I'm telling people, use your conscience, use critical thinking, do research, and for God's sakes, use your common sense. I actually haven't written to Heather in a while, and I'm pretty sure she hasn't written to me because look at what time of year it is. I haven't written any letters. I actually did write one to Heather. I just haven't mailed it yet, so I'm going to have to add it to another one. Where'd it go? Well, I'm going to have to write her another one. So listen, guys, it's been an hour and a half. And I need to go and boil some noodles and watch some TV with my hubby because we haven't had any TV time in the last 3 days. So I'm going to check out our farmers if the need arises. Yeah. So thank you. So I pray the truth will come out. It's already coming out. You can't have, if everybody was willing, there would be no need for financial. Okay, I'm not going to say anything else about anything else, but if there was really a need for something, you wouldn't need to coerce people. You wouldn't need to threaten people's jobs. You wouldn't need, you wouldn't need, mandates because it would be common sense. Just use your common sense, right? You wouldn't be, this all wouldn't be going on if there wasn't some darker, if there wasn't some underlying agenda, right? So I'm going to say for all those who care to, because people are starting to leave and we know why, because we were talking politics and we shouldn't have. But remember, folks, use your own critical thinking. Talk to people you trust. And, it's easy when someone says, I trust the science, and they don't want to discuss it. It's because they actually may not have as much trust in it and when it comes out that it's actually damn, like I had someone say, there's only been 7 deaths. And it's like, due to the jab. And it's like, oh, really? Are we talking within 24 hours, within 20 minutes, or within 2 weeks or 3 months? Okay? Because anybody who dies from a complication to it later on, it will not be completely linked to the jab. It'll be linked to heart disease or liver failure or something else. They will not say ever that they were wrong, right? So it is here. They're trying to mandate it. It's really bad. And when that's not working now, they're trying to force us. It's not force, it's coercion. But it's force nonetheless. You start taking people away from, you start excluding people because they cannot or will not put their bodies through science that they don't trust. That's segregation and discrimination, is it not? Just saying. This is probably going to get removed. So as soon as I finish, I'm going to download it just in case. Because the last time I talked about it on my Cooking with Cannabis channel, they dinged me for a month Like they put a strike on my account and remove the video. So the moment I close this, I'm going to download it for proof that we didn't talk about anything other than what everybody else is talking about. I'm just not allowed to talk about it online. So for all those who care to, please help me close. First off, I'm going to do some cleansing here because of all the negative stuff that we've talked about. Hey, Mary Jane Weeds! We're just ending, honey. Did you know that sage smoke was used in ancient times as a decongestant in your lungs? Now, do not take my word for it, but sage smoke mixed with mullein and sometimes lit and it helps clear congestion in your lungs. But I want to cleanse the air with the sacred smoke of the sage, the white sage. Okay? And I want to cleanse and center. Please, sacred smoke, clear the negative energy from the air that may have popped in while we were talking. I'm going to put it out on my abalone shell here. All right. And I'm sorry if anybody out there, don't call me a witch for burning sage. It is a part of it's a part of everybody's lineage. And where do you think the churches got incense? Okay, so you're welcome, Mary Jane Weeds. And I'm going to do one more. Oh, wow. You know what just happened? Here are my cards. You see my cards there? See where the moon cards are? Shoot, this stupid tripod. I just picked up my fan and 2 cards flipped off the top of the deck. Shall we read them? Just a minute. Okay, your dreams need a practical plan. Practical plan. And this was inverted. So it says, what do you need to release? I'm going to tell you, what do you need to bring closer to you? What do you need? You may want to release toxicity or whatever, but if this is inverted, it doesn't necessarily mean the opposite. But it could mean if you're going to release some stuff, some negative energy, some bad energy, know what you want to replace it with. Okay? Make sense? Practical plan. It starts in the pantry, right? Blueberry Diane. All right, for all those who care to, please help me close with a spiritual push to the world. Now, I am not about denominational religion at all. I have a conscious contact with the God of my understanding, whom I call Source. And I have learned I have my lesson, and I've got my message from Christ. Everything else for me is immaterial or hearsay or interfered with by man. All right? But I'm not telling you to do what I do or say what I say or feel what I feel. What I am asking is that we drop the barriers erected by religion to keep us apart and always arguing, and celebrate the similarities in our beliefs and our not even beliefs, the similarities in our values. Okay? Oh, wonderful. That's okay, Anita. You're here. You're absolutely here. So it's legal here in Canada too. And I had almost 19,000 subscribers on my Cooking with Cannabis channel, and I was doing everything legal. But they demonetized it, and they block all my any videos I do now. So much. I just answered a survey today saying to YouTube. They said, do you think we look after your interests? No, not necessarily. Right? All right. What do you mean, thank goodness, Bev, you're real? I just got here was garage sailing. I thought I was the only person who called it garage sailing. All right, listen. Let me just... Ay! Sorry. Turn off this light. And we'll turn off this light. Woo! And we will... Let's focus on the pretty cloud. How about that, right? Okay. For all those who care to, please help me close. Now, when I say we are going to make a closed circuit, think about electricity. When we link hands across the world, we really are making an electrical circuit. And when we ask God, or the God of your understanding, to fill us and flood us with the light of his love, we're not meant to contain that. We all have our own core light, right? But we're not meant to contain that. So it shoots out and it builds, and it's I feel it and I see it every time. Okay, so looking for the deals and found them. Oh, good. That's actually my clouds. That's my clouds. See how they change color? Watch. I'll let you watch them for a second. But let's, I don't want you looking at me, right? Let's all take a nice deep breath. Okay. O creator of all, source of everything. How's it going, God? We come together today, God, to lift each other up, not to spread fear, but to spread hope. We come together to raise each other's spirits and our vibrations and our love, so that we can go forth into our day re-energized. If not wholly, then, everybody's going to take away what they can from this experience. But God, we lift those people up to you that are having a hard time connecting with you or finding their inner light. We lift those people up to you that are traveling on this Labor Day weekend and need safe passage. We lift those people up to you that are suffering from illness or fear or anxiety, or those who are looking after people who are critically ill, people that are alone or neglected, rejected, or afraid for their lives, afraid for their jobs, afraid. God, we know that the answer is love. We know that the answer is love. And I ain't talking the romantic gibberish, bull crap, and sex and tits and butts that we see on the TV every day that Hallmark thinks is such a wonderful thing. I mean the love that we get from you, the love that allows us to love ourselves enough not to accept unacceptable behavior, not to allow toxic behaviors rule our lives, love ourselves enough not to allow our lives to be ruled by fear. Because if we are afraid, then where's our faith, right? So God, we want to link hearts and we want to link hands across the world from where everybody's coming from. And we want, God, we want you to pour into our center light. Fill us, flood us with the light of your love, God, so that as we link, we create a beautiful circuit that will amplify your love, God. It will amplify our love, thanks to you. And we will push that light out, and it will create a big, beautiful 1,000,000-watt flare, so that those who are having a hard time connecting or finding their light, or having a hard time putting aside their anxiety and fear, or having a hard time dealing with illnesses or family and friends that are ill, or whatever is going on, that they have a place to shelter and rest and generate. And the brighter we put that light, God, the more the darkness is pushed back. Because we know the one thing things that slink in the dark don't like is to be illuminated. Thank you, God. Thank you, God, for bringing us together and allowing us to share love, light, happiness, harmony, and peace. Amen. Namaste. Shalom. Peace be with you. Merry meet, merry part, miigwech. Peace be with you. Go forth in light. Whatever your salutation is, your greeting or your traditional parting, know that when we come together and link hearts and link hands, God is there also. Take care. God bless. I'll see you for your next public live stream on Thursday. Take care.